What is up, everyone? Welcome to the 20 Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Spider. That's right. Our show is brought to you by Beatsource. That is where we are coming to you live from the Beatsource headquarters in Beverly Hills. We are the music streaming service for DJs that play everything. I know that's me. I know that's probably you. I am so impressed by what the team at Beatsource is doing day after day. We've got all the music you could ever need for every gig. We've got Beatsource Link, which allows you to DJ from the cloud, streaming tracks. But we've got an offline locker too, where you can store 1,000 tracks. So if you got no access to Wi-Fi, you can still DJ. It's super dope. Use our code the20 to get another free 30-day trial on there. So you get like a 60-day trial with our code THE20, the 20. And let me know what you think. Keep in touch with me. I'm on Instagram, probably the best way to get a hold of me, at DJ Spider, DJ SPIDER. And shout out to you, the Beat Sorcerers, everyone that's allowed us to keep doing this. You guys are our lifeblood out there, the listeners, everything. So keep it coming, keep the listens coming, keep the reviews, keep all the comments that you're saying to me coming. I really appreciate it. I am so lucky to get to interview all these amazing guests. Please rate and review the podcast so we can continue to grow it on Apple Podcasts and all that. So today we are doing another part 2 podcast. I thought it was only right. We've got the DJ City Latino link up in LA right now. And I wanted to talk to my man, DJ Kaz. He was one of the first people I interviewed during the pandemic, July 2020. It was virtual, it was on Zoom. And there's just something different about doing it in person. I also feel like he, of all people, has changed so much in a positive way since then. And he was an amazing person then, but the amount that he's learned and that his self-reflectiveness, that he brought, I don't think that's a word, but, that he brought to the table and has learned through this time, I think can resonate with all you guys. So I wanted to hear about how Miami has changed, how he has changed, what's going on with the music out there. I mean, we get into everything. We drop so many gems. We get into emotional things. We get into hilarious things. He is just an all-around great person. He's got the right mindset. He's a super dope DJ and very accomplished. I mean, he's constantly doing so many residencies, radio shows, so much dope stuff. So without further ado, we got to bring him on. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. So please welcome to the 20 Podcast, DJ Kaz, a.k.a. Killer Kaz. All right, we are here. It's the 20 Podcast, live and direct in person from Beverly Hills. We got DJ Kaz coming from Miami. We are live and direct in Beverly Hills. I meant, but
yes,
what up? Welcome. Welcome in person.
I know.
We recorded in July of 2020, prime pandemic, LA to Miami connection, trying to understand what was going on each side of the country.
We chopped about it. It was such a different, weird.
So
range.
Weird. Yeah. I remember I listened back to part of it and I was saying maybe people should wear masks. Like, that's what I was saying. And I was like, people could get tested before the party and then show the thing. And actually, that's what some of the stuff ended up happening.
Right, for a little bit. And then
for a little bit. Now it's really weird time, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's been we can just get kind of straight to it. It's been a different shift in the nightlife, I think.
Yeah.
I think one of the things is, shout out to DJ Beto. He always brings it up that the people in 2020, 2021 that were turning 21 or turning of age or starting to party, starting to go out, they went through this weird year of not partying, or the people that were partying, everything has kind of shifted. I feel like, some clubs aren't the same. Some generations don't even know how to go out, or some people stop going out. And it's changed. I think it's changed everywhere, but it's a different world, different market, but gotta make the best of it.
Yeah, totally. And I think that it's different crowds of people going out too, like you said. I mean, because some DJs are like, oh, I can't believe this music's back or this is happening, but people have been stuck in. Some people turned 21 during the pandemic, or some people weren't going out at a time when we were playing songs from 10 years ago, So I have noticed that being back in clubs, I'm playing things like Feel Some Type of Way, and Bands Will Make Her Dance, and songs from that, and people are into it. And there's different music that's working because I think it's different crowds that got to, go out.
Yeah, and then I feel like that pocket, like you say, Band to Make You Dance, that kind of genre era of 2010 rap, trap stuff is nostalgia now.
Yeah.
So like it works, and the music now is so limited, and the pop music now or the commercial music now is not what you hear in the clubs.
Right.
So you have a weird kind of crowd, and I think the 2010 stuff, 2009, 10 pop stuff and the rap stuff, early 2010s rap stuff was popping right now. Like
it didn't that isn't it? Like it's almost like that's the new stuff. Like you can play like the new Drake and it won't go off as well. Wait, I'm gonna try to aim the mic at you. Your mouth a little bit better.
There we go. Does that work? Let's go.
All right. Gotta get that good sound, that pristine sound in here. But yeah, exactly. Like I've noticed that the throwbacks, like in that respect, are those kind of songs. And then like I think I've talked about it on here before too, but I went to this party called Electric Feels a couple weeks ago here.
Right.
And they're playing Phoenix, Foster the People, MGMT.
Indian to Bloghouse era.
Exactly, all that. But it wasn't club people. It was almost like people that want to go to shows or Coachella type crowds, or people that just have never heard that stuff loud. You know what I mean? Like it's a different experience to hear a DJ mix it together, but also to hear it just loud on speakers and you feel the bass and you get to sing it along.
And
sing along with
all that music is loud. Like it's very synth heavy, very like production heavy. So like you need to hear it that loud.
Yeah,
that's dope. In Miami, I feel like the reggaeton and the Latin stuff and the club shit is cool, but the throwback is kind of like has become, the hits, like the very open format stuff, which for me has always been my shit. And like now my throwback or my rock songs or my pockets have grown so much because all right, now I'm playing 2010 shit.
Right.
Let me play Kesha, let me play this, and you gotta refresh some routines, or you refresh some tracks, or you come up with different things, and it's cool because like we've played it before.
Yeah,
like, we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so, it's cool to be able to do it at this level that we're at now, or our capabilities now. So
yeah, that's where like the experience factor comes in, because you're like, okay, I've been through this era, or I know this kind of music, or whatever they want, and. Same. I've noticed the same thing. People just want to party, but like they want to be able to sing along to the songs, and they want fun. And it's not like when Kesha came out and people were like, that's cheesy, or whatever it is. Like, it's different now.
But it's also funny because like it was cheesy. But, I mean, I love cheesy.
But who cares?
I love cheesy shit though.
Yeah.
But now those kids are old enough to like party, and like they feel like nostalgic. It's a nostalgic thing. And and when people are like, oh, like, I'm like, wait, you were singing to Britney. You're just 10 years older than these people. Like, like they're 25, 26, and they were partying, listening to this when they were 13, 14, 15.
Exactly.
And now you're 35, 36. You're salty because you're already old when this came out.
Yes.
So let them live their shine. Like, just
exactly.
Like,
That's what I try to tell the DJs, the jaded DJs, like, let them live. Let everybody have fun. That's where those Twitter arguments just get so stupid, because no one's DJing in the same place. No one's DJing for the same people. Everything is different. And also, let people have fun. Like, why can't people have fun? Once anybody starts having fun, people are like, no, don't do that.
The best advice I've gotten recently, and like if you know me, you know that I'm like, I can be an asshole.
You're a nice asshole.
Exactly. It's like a cordial. I can be like a cordial, like with a reason asshole.
Right.
But the manager the other day was like, yo, don't be a dick on the mic. And I was like, I literally like synced in on me, and I was like, he's like, I heard you call somebody a Karen the other day.
I was gonna say, where did that come from? That must have come from something.
And he was like, but I'm like, yo, like, and this is what happened. Like, it was a group of, like, bachelorette group comes up to the booth, and you already see them. You see not the tiara, the band,
the sash,
sash. You see the sash. You see like the best friend. You see like the one fighting with her boyfriend. You already can tell the whole group. They're coming up to me, and I'm already like, oh God, like. and it was the venue was fairly empty. So I was like, you know what, let me be. And I was like, what's up, Karen? What do you want? And she's like, oh my God. She was like, oh my God, it's like so whatever. Like, can you play? And I forgot what it was. And it was fairly slow. So I played it and I gave her the mic and I'm like, hey.
Oh no.
She was like singing. I'm like, yeah, here you go. You want to sing? All right, sing. So I gave her the mic. I passed the mic over and she was singing whatever. And I was like, yo, I got to stop being a dick with people. Like, you know, like,
yeah.
Let people have fun. Let people enjoy it, you know? Like,
right.
Nobody knows that the song was already played, or nobody cares that it's off key, or nobody cares that, you know, like, people just want to have fun. People want to party.
Right. Like, I even am of the school of don't play the songs twice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, whatever. You know what I mean? These people weren't here, especially in Miami and places with long nights, Vegas.
Right.
You can definitely play stuff a couple
or you're rotating,
times.
or you're rotating the room, or like you're playing early, or
yeah.
I mean, in small rooms, like, yo, like, you know, you have to. And like, if the room flips or if it turns over or whatever, like, you kind of have to play the songs over, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's not even start if it's like a bottle service spot, you know. That's a whole nother standard that we know. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, you know, we like all kinds of stuff and cheesy stuff and everything and play everything. So we kind of have a bigger pool to choose from. And then now with all this music coming back, that because it wasn't cool to play stuff from 2010 or 15 before, like 5 years ago. They're like, why are you playing this? That's whack. It's from 2 years ago. But now it's like back 10 years ago.
And I think that people kind of try to push the like nostalgia to bring back, because I mean, there's records in that 2010 trap stuff that I've never stopped playing. Like, I never stopped playing Trap Queen. Like, Trap Queen, I play Trap Queen at probably 80% of my gigs.
That's funny. It's true. There's ones I forgot when I went back through my old sets. I'm like, oh man, I got to play all this stuff. Yeah. Like, people just want to sing the choruses and just have fun, like you said.
Right.
Well, yeah, like I mentioned, you know, we did our first interview. So if anyone didn't hear that, you should go back and listen to it. It's from July 2020. And, you know, we go through a lot of your history and, you know, so many of the dope things you do. And for people that didn't listen, I mean, you have a show on, you're on the radio, Globalization.
I'm on Globalization every Tuesday with my brother DJ Live It Up every Tuesday, 7 p.m. PST, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
It's called Rebota. We've been doing it for about a year and a half.
Dope.
And we started the show, you know, during the pandemic, and it was something that, you know, we've all done guest mixes on Globalization.
Right.
Shout out to Edwin.
Yeah.
And the whole team. And it was an opportunity that came up, you know, and you know, I always try to push, for the DJs that don't know me or people that don't know me, I always try to push culture, DJ forward stuff. And, you know, we were trying to figure out what can we do and this and that. And then, you know, the opportunity of the show came along, and we wanted it to be, you know, a lot of people think that because it's Globalization, it's all Latin or all house or all this or all that. We want it to be Miami, kind of a Miami-based show where we play 80s, 90s, freestyle, to Gloria Stefan, to John Cicada, to obviously Pitbull, to the more current stuff. And, you know, it's been great. We've had a lot of good feedback. And then we've recently started having guests on. And we tell the guests the same thing. Yo, like, don't think it's just this format, this genre, this music. Play whatever you think is like Miami-ish.
Right.
Or like whatever your take on Miami-ish.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be all house. So
yeah.
We've had a lot of DJs on. Right now, actually, we're doing a Radical Groove. Shout out to the Radical Groove family from Charlotte. They're doing a takeover all month.
Nice.
That's one of the things. And then I have MI Radio with DJ Zaya, which is a podcast.
Right, that's your podcast. Yeah. Where you guys just talk about Miami stuff and DJing just like this.
Yeah,
right?
it's pretty much us. It's Miami through the eyes of two working DJs. That's like our motto. And we've had different Miami people that are not. We wanted to stay away from just being a DJ podcast.
Yeah.
It'd be more Miami. So we've had people involved in the nightlife industry.
Right.
That are not in the nightlife. Or, you know, we had a promoter that opened up a restaurant and now he has like 7 locations, you know. He started like a healthy, when the health craze came around, he started like a healthy Chipotle, and then he has like 7 or 8 locations.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But he met the guy at the club, and, you know, he told his whole story. One of my boys, videographer, you know, he's traveled the world, and we had him on, and just kind of we always want to show, you know, the struggle and the come up and what everybody does. And then what else do I have? I don't know. I lose track.
You do so much stuff. Well, I mean, so when I met you, not when I met you a long time ago.
Yeah.
But when I went and DJ'd with you, I think it was 2019
That's
December,
right.
Art Basel at Wood Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pandemic starts like 2.5, 3 months later. And so much happened through that time because Wood Tavern was sort of like your spot. Yeah. Like you ran that, you set the tone of the music and the DJs and bringing people in and all that.
Right.
And it closed.
Right.
And it reopened and then it closed again. Or a lot of stuff happened, right? But you ended up then doing things with different places, Dare and different things.
Yeah.
And so what's the status now?
Currently at Wood, they changed locations.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that.
What happened is that they closed, and there was issue. There was like a big back and forth with the management, the landlord. There was stuff that I'm not too aware of, but they ended up moving locations. But now it's a whole compound. What shout out to Caesar, the owner. He's building. He has pizza and beer, you know, sports bar.
Okay.
It has a deck outside which connects to the wood deck.
Right.
And then he has 2 other concepts that he's going to do behind the same area. It's pretty much like half a block. And the new Wood is, you know, it's kind of like Wood 2.0. Mm-hmm. You know, we put a big LED screen. You still have the bleachers. You still have the same vibe. But the neighborhood's changed a lot, you know, from 10 years ago to 5 years ago to 3 years ago.
Okay.
You know, what's changed a lot is become extremely touristy. It's become extremely... You know, like there's not a Starbucks yet, but like I think that's gonna be like the nail in the coffin to like, you know, not to be an old head or not to be washed.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And like back in my day, Wood used to be, but it had its time, and now it's going into something else. So
yeah,
I'm actually doing the programming there now.
Oh, you are?
I took over the programming, and we started a Tuesday night, a martes, Latin Tuesday. Wednesdays we have Girls Rule. Shout out to DJ L. All female lineup every Wednesday.
Dope.
Thursday it's Y2 Kaz right now, so it's like my night, which is 2000s throwback stuff, and we're gonna be tweaking that. Friday, Saturday we have a residence. Shout out to Alio Maneuvers and Maneuvers and Beto, and then Alio's on Saturday, and then Sunday's the backyard boogie party that they've had forever. Okay. So we're gonna start doing more stuff. I have a few ideas. Few party concepts that I want to kind of host, you know, we have homies from all over the country that do their own parties and stuff. So eventually we would want to host them in Miami. You know, hey, come over, do a takeover at Wood Tavern. You
Such a good idea, because that's the thing now, really setting up your own brand, your own party, and bringing that to the table as a DJ. If you're not a producer, even if you are, and I think that's a cool, you know, way to approach it.
And I want that to be. You know, I want to have a platform for DJs, you know, hey, you know, it's JQ, like, homie JQ is like, yo, we do travesuras in LA. Can we do a pop-up, or how can we do this in Miami? Right. Let's do it at Wood Tavern. And you know, and I tell every DJ that, like, yo, like, if it's not a party, if you don't have a podcast, or you don't have even putting out mixes every week, or whatever you're doing to set yourself apart, like, do it. And if there's more avenues, do it. I do them all. You know, we're both always constantly doing shit, and now, you know, you can't complain about not getting booked, because what do you bring to the table? You know, like, people are like, oh, and I'm like, well, I have the relationships. You know, that's kind of what you don't see. That's the back end relationship. People know that you know we are good DJs. We get booked. Maybe we're not booking tables, or we're not doing the party, or maybe it's this concept or whatever. But DJs always have your you know, your coin, like your worth. Yes. It sucks to put it in that way, but it's the truth. So I'm doing that at Wood, and you know, we're doing a bunch of guest DJ. We have a bunch of stuff lined up. We're doing something for Cinco de Mayo right now. And that's that. That's my Thursdays. Fridays I'm at the Wharf, which is, I've been there for a few years, and it's an outdoor indoor venue right on the water, and it's super open format. Daytime, it's very family friendly, you know, dog friendly. It's right on the water. It's a big tent, and it's all nautical theme. You have food trucks and everything, but you get a happy hour crowd that merges with the night crowd. So you'll have 2 different shifts of DJs. I'm there. I'll do either or. And like I said, it's open format. Anything from J Balvin to Paramore, you know. Like,
yeah.
I get in my bag and people love it. It's such a diverse crowd.
That's basically, that describes your sets right there.
Yeah.
Those two songs.
Yeah. J Balvin and Paramore, like, you know. So I'm there, and then I'm also at Blackbird on the weekends. I rotate
that place
there.
is crazy.
Yeah, super dope. Same thing. That's very open format too, but that's more party open format.
Yeah,
dance open
super
format.
party.
Like
open
you have
format.
to keep the energy high at the Wharf.
It's a big ass room, right?
Yeah. You have the inside and the outside. The inside room is a little bit more intimate, dark, low ceiling.
Right.
And then the outside is just a mass, you know, of people and party shit. Like fun party shit. People dance and people wild out. Sundays, once a month, I'm at Dare.
Okay.
Dare rooftop. The Dare pool.
Dare is not in Miami, right?
It's just outside. 20. I mean, for LA, it's nothing. It's like 20, 30 minutes.
Right.
Out, you know, like it's in Fort Lauderdale, right by the stadium.
Okay. Fort Lauderdale.
It's connected to the Hard Rock Hotel, the Guitar Hotel.
The guitar one,
that they just redid. They have the day club and the night club. So, you know, all the Rockwell DJs, shout out to the team. We're all on there. We rotate Sundays.
Nice.
Mondays, I chill. Tuesdays, I'm at Blackburn. I do the Tuesday party. Wednesdays, I chill. But those are like the main spots that I'm at. And then I rotate a few spots. Beatsource, I do that on Sundays too. It's this local brewery. Super chill. That's the gig where I tell like my homies, you know, like daytime, they're 3 to 7. Like, yo, man, bring your dog, you know, bring your homies. Like, it's not going to be kids wilding out. Like, like friendly shit. And then traveling. I've been traveling a lot. I was in San Diego recently. I went to Nicaragua for spring break. I just did that.
Nice. Where'd you play in San Diego?
In San Diego, I did a Chingon.
Oh, okay.
And Sidebar.
Nice.
So, you know, fun. Shout out to Kevin, the roster, the whole team out there. I did that. I also did, oh my God, he's going to kill me. Beatnik got me in the spot. El Dorado, I think it was.
In Chicago?
No, in San Diego.
Oh, in San Diego.
I think I did a spot. It was super fun.
Okay. What up, Beatnik?
Yeah. Then I'm lining up a bunch of stuff. I'll be back here in the summer. I'll be here at Mom's Bar.
Oh, cool.
I'm doing
with Bossa Nova.
With Bossa Nova.
Yeah.
He hit me up for that. I got some other stuff that I'll be here for that.
That's cool.
And then Beyond the Music is the week after.
Let's go. So, June, Beyond the Music. Have you guys heard about this? Yeah. We're all going to be out there. Let's go. I think that's where me and you really connected. Right. We met in Miami during Winter Music. Right. You showed me this picture you have of us. That was a long time ago. But we really got to connect and like talk at Beyond the Music. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many people I met there that I got to talk to and really get to know. And even JQ, I got to hear him DJ for real there, you know. And I probably wouldn't have heard him DJ, you know, if not. And I went to go see him last week at his party, and I want to get him on here and talk about his perspective. And, you know, he was telling me he's 28 years old, so it played into the whole age thing as well. With 10 years ago, he's 18, you know, and the pandemic's lasted 2.5, 3 years, you know, 2.5 years, I guess, at this point. So I think, you know, a lot of those people are younger, and just to hear his perspective on it, and then the Latin parties and all these things that I don't even know that much about. I went to his party and I'm like Shazamming nonstop.
Shazam on, just leave it on.
Oh, I just had it on auto at that point, and I'm like, you know, and his friends are like, "You think you could DJ a party like this?" I'm like, "No." Well, eventually,
maybe. Let me prep.
But yeah, Beyond the Music, it was great. I'm so glad we get to do it again this year.
I tell people when it came out, I was like, yo, not just because I'm, you know, the DJ City.
Exactly.
Miami
it's not
rep.
Just because we're part of this.
We're employed by the company. Yo, like, this is probably one of the biggest investments you can do for your career.
Yeah.
Like, if you're moving, if you're on social media, if you're moving on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever it is, if you're putting out edits, remixes, whoever you work for, go to this, because this will put a face and a character to the DJ name.
And you can get to know each other personally. Like, I rode up in the car with Pedram, who's the booking person, you know, for Tao and all that stuff. And like, just being able to meet and talk and realize, oh shit, we actually have a lot in common. We get along, like, and we like each other, you know. And then I met all these other DJs that like I hadn't known, or booking people, or you know, whatever. And I learned a lot. Like, I moderated a panel called Breaking Out of the Bedroom, and I learned a lot from it, just from asking questions like this, you know. And
no, it's definitely, you know, like, you know, it's now, you don't have the 3 style. You don't have, you know,
right.
If you're not a 3 style guy or a Goldie guy, or like, if you're just a working DJ, like, yo, go to these things.
But they had Z-Trip talking about mental health. They had people talking about taxes and like all types of things that
right. And it's like you said,
are interesting.
It's not just about bookings and things that matter to us, and it's good. Like, if you're invested in the DJ world, it's definitely a must, you know.
I know. I saw some people last night at this event that Cheap Shot was throwing. Shout to Cheap Shot. But they were like, I'm going out. I'm bringing my wife and kid. And I was like, oh, it's like that? Yeah, so wow. I don't know. I might do that too. Oh, shit. It's supposed to be a dope spot.
Right. I know. I love how they do I love how they do a resort that's out.
Yeah.
Because they know that we're going to find a way. Like, yo, they can do this in like Wyoming.
Right.
And we'll still find like, oh, there's a bar 10 minutes away and Danny West knows the DJ. We're going to go right now.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I know. We're going to take over Scottsdale or Phoenix. Real. I don't know how close it is, but
it's definitely, it's going to be a good trip. So
yeah, dope. All right. So
yeah, I have that.
Got that coming up.
I'm trying to think. I'm supposed to go to Alaska.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
I've never been there.
Yeah, I went when I was a kid, and when I was in the military, I went, but I've never gone to DJ. Shout out to DJ Beto. He's from out there, and Gree, who's he goes to Vegas a lot. I know he was just in the West Coast, and over there they're like, yo, bro, like, you would crush it here. They're like Stuck in Time, like
right
90s, 2000 shit. I'm like, dude, oh, perfect. All right, like if the throwback shit is still current shit, like, even better, you know. So yeah,
that'd be fun. I'd love to go up there sometime.
Yeah, so I'm trying to book a lot of stuff like that, where it's a workcation, and you know, same thing. I've throughout the pandemic, I really took my time to like be out there and be in people's faces, as in putting out edits. That's when I started my Patreon, which I still have.
Oh, so you still have that going?
I still have it going. I still put up stuff like sporadically. I don't do it weekly like I once did, but if I put something up, it's something that I've been using and it works.
And how has that been for you? Like, do you feel stressed out having to like put things for the patrons?
I tell people,
or do you like, you know?
I always tell people, look, like, first of all my shit is on there. There's probably about, I don't know, like 4,000 edits. So like when you first join, there's a back, like the first when you first join, the pin post is like, hey, this is my back catalog from 2009 to 2019.
Wow. Yeah.
So like start with that, and there's a lot of outdated stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you probably won't play, but there's gonna be gems. Yeah. And then after that, it's like, you know, I just did a ABCDEFU into I Don't Fuck With You. I know there's like I've seen multiple versions, but I did my version of it.
Nice.
Same thing with like the Jack Harlow Glamorous, you know, transition, like stuff like that. That's like you could do it live, but you know, it's a lot of stuff for younger DJs that don't even know, or like, or I'll do like a Latin pack. Like, yo, these are the top 5 Latin songs. Instead of like, yo, what are you doing? Or what are you playing? I'm like, boom, here's this Latin pack.
That Jack Harlow's funny because it actually plays into exactly what we're saying, where it's like he samples a Black Eyed Peas or, you know, a Fergie song, and everyone like so nostalgic. It's like funny to see. Like, I had this thought the other day, just going through music, that I'm like, in 2022, we are nostalgic over Fergie. Yeah. Like, if you only were there when Fergie came out, everyone was hating a lot. You know, they're like, why would she be here? Why is she part of the group? Who is she? She's the worst. And now people are like, oh, man, remember the days? You know, it's like the nostalgic Fergie days. I'm like, I didn't think that would ever come.
Ever writing for Fergie.
No. And now.
Ever writing for Fergie.
No.
Even me, that I was still like, I loved Glamorous when it first came out because it meant something to me, because that was one of the songs that was hot when I came back from deployment. I was in Afghanistan.
Okay.
2007.
Oh, wow. We got to get into all that.
We'll get into the military stuff. So like I got back from Afghanistan, and like it's literally like getting out of prison, you know, like you come back to reality, and you're like, oh, like, and this is pre-social media, so I wasn't on the internet over there.
Right.
I had a laptop. I had like a bootleg ass like Gateway laptop back then, and I had my DJ, I had like Audacity in there, and I had other stuff, but when I came back, I wasn't tapped into the new music, and that was out. I think Good Life was out too, so like that summer to me was like insane.
Right.
But I wasn't writing for Fergie on like on anything else, on like
I know
Clumsy or like I play them and now they're fun, but like I wasn't like, yo, Clumsy's my shit, no.
I know.
Like,
that's so funny.
So,
dope. And so how much do you charge? Like, or how does that work out?
I have a $5 plan and a $10 plan.
Okay.
And $5 plan is basic, but then like, at least once or twice a month, I'll put like a little $10. Like for the Pitbull Daddy Yankee Hot, that song that just came out, I did a whole pack where, I did short intro, I did like a pit only or like a this.
Right.
And then I made a bootleg with Plastic Funk Who.
Okay, dope.
So, they were in key, whatever, and then you actually hear the Who right before the song hits. So you're like, yo, like, I'm like, oh, let me make this. So that stuff like that, I'll make like little edits like that, $5 or $10, and
so it seems worth it for you to do it and put the time in.
Younger DJs, and yo, like, I'll say it out there, like, I there's guys that like sign up, cancel it, and then go back,
right?
Which I'm cool, like, cool, you come back, like, that I'm not posting that much, but come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing that I have, like I mentioned, DJ City, rep, and then sleep when I can,
Oh, you sleep?
Or try to.
Wow, what's wrong with you?
Try to,
Yeah, I've been trying to get up to that 7 to 8 hour zone, but I can never do it.
Right now, I mean, I don't have kids. I have a girl, but I'm not married, and I don't have any like dogs. But like right now, I'm trying to get on my like 7:30, 8 a.m. shit. Like,
to wake up. It's so hard. I know.
It's insane. It's insane, but I'm getting there to where it's like, all right, I can do it.
Right.
Like, even on days I go out.
Yeah, it's tough. That's good. Yeah. Well, one thing I want to ask about that you were talking about was when you're doing the programming for like, for example, Wood.
Yeah.
And you're saying that you're bringing in parties or you have these different nights. What's been working, like, just for this day and age, 2022, like, in throwing nights at clubs? What gets people in there besides booking a ticketed DJ because you're doing these parties and stuff?
That's kind of where I'm at right now, and it's actually like the same thing that I asked myself, and I've had this conversation with many DJs, because like we were talking out, and I'll be very transparent, like, to book a certain DJ, it's not gonna be a draw,
right?
Like to book a top tier DJ. I mean, first of all, we're not booking EDM guys. To book like a Red Bull style DJ is not a crazy draw. So you have to find concepts, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Like to do a party, like
people might be more drawn towards a Y2K party than even a dope DJ that's known for playing the Y2K.
So the thing that I see is, all right, you're gonna do a party, let's say Y2, like that actually we're gonna switch it. We're working on another concept, but to have a party, we're gonna use a Y2K. It's like, all right, Y2K, you want all your aesthetics to look cool.
Yeah.
Like people are so tapped into Instagram. Like you want to put a little teaser flyer, like a sidekick, like a hot girl on her sidekick, or like, whatever, something 2K-ish. That's like
Dreamcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Like whatever aesthetic, and kind of build a promo from it, have the right people around it, have the right people working with you. And then once you build the right promo, find sponsors or find any kind of cross promotion that you can do, like, and there's a ton of seltzers out, like hard seltzers. There's anything and everything. Like if you move around and if you're busy and working enough, you're going to connect with, hey, this is my friend. He's, they just started a brand, or they have this t-shirt company, and like try to find ways to incorporate everything into your party. So that way the people that you're bringing in are also helping with your promotion. Yeah. So if you do Y2K on a Saturday, we're going to do Y2K barbecue. All right, cool. Let me get Don Julio involved. We'll do a Don Julio margarita and name it after that. So you have certain shots, certain drinks. Oh, they serve food. All right, let's do this this or theme that. And you build the whole party, the whole concept around that. And people see it like, oh, cool. All right, the Y2K party, I know that they play this. They give out free shirts, or they give out fucking yo-yo. They give out Tamagotchis, or I don't fucking know, some wild concept. And I think to me, that's the draw now. Yeah. And then you build your content. You build your content from the party while you're doing the party. You have the person filming, the people drinking, coming in. Have to have somebody collecting content and be quick with it. Have a quick turnaround. Like, yo, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, thank you. Here's a reel. Boom. Yeah. Like, And to me, I think that's crucial right now.
Right.
So if somebody comes up to me and is like, hey, look, we're doing this and this and this, you're doing most of the job for the venue. You know, you're doing a lot of things, and you kind of have to. That's what's setting you apart. You know, you want to be old and grumpy and complain on Twitter, you can, or you can come up with concepts and shit like that. And there's different ways, you know, and it's everybody post pandemic is trying to figure it out.
Right.
And I think that just booking a DJ and doing this is not there, because people don't really want to go out anymore.
It's changed. We talked about it before we were recording. Like, things are different, and I think that most humans don't want things to change. You know, we're creatures of habit in a way, and we like the way things are. And you've seen it through DJing. I mean, through the past 20, 30 years of like, I don't want to use this digital thing. I don't want to use this system. I don't want to use CDJ. I shouldn't have to post a flyer. I don't want to have to do it. Everything they didn't want to do, now we're expected to do. So lean into it, and maybe you take over and set the pace of what needs to happen. You know what I mean?
You have to accept it.
So you don't feel like that.
Yeah, you have to accept it. And something I've said, like, I realized this pre-pandemic, and then during the pandemic is when I was like very vocal about it.
Yeah.
If a DJ is doing something that's corny, that's cheesy, that you're like, man, what the fuck? You're not his target audience. That's it.
Yeah.
He's not geared. He doesn't give a fuck about you. He doesn't care if you think that whatever the fuck he's posting is cool. No.
Right.
His target audience is whoever he's trying to, whatever promoter he's trying to shoot for, whatever audience.
Right.
Like, I don't want to make money off my friends. I say this shit all the time. I want randoms to find me, discover me, come across and follow me. And I'm not trying to hunt my friends down every weekend and come to my gigs. Like,
right. That is a funny thing. I feel like that's something that's on all the social media sites that, like, yo, your friend has time to post about Kim Kardashian, but not buy a sandwich from your business.
Right.
When it's like, yes, you're right. I get it.
Yeah.
But if your business is only sustainable by taking money from your friends, I don't think it's a great business if you really think about it. Like, yes, you need them in the beginning. You need them to help.
Your friend will repost Beyonce's birthday, but won't.
But not come to your, you know, spa or like whatever like place you've set up. It's like, yo, I'll come. I'll go support my friends' places, and I'll post about them, and I'll buy something there. But you can't depend on me to come all the time. You need the actual public and the world. And like you said, not me. Like the people you're, like the real world, the normal people that are going to come do it. And yes, I will help you jumpstart it, and I'll be there for you, and I'll support all the time. Right. And your friends should do that. But if you're getting to the point where you're depending on them for everything. And that's why I see people start parties like, it was packed the first couple times, then nobody's coming. Because you're only depending on your friends. Yeah. And there's only so much your friends should be expected to do, and that you would do for other people if you really put yourself in that position,
and
right?
You gotta think outside the box too, because like yo, I'm not 21 years old. I don't think like a 21-year-old. Like, yo, like nobody wants to see like a 30-something, 40-something. Like, I mean, it's not that nobody wants to see it. That's not the point, a selling point. You know, like a random 19, 20-year-old, a random 22-year-old girl going into a club wants good music. They don't care that it's, you know, DJ A, B, or C. Like, build a good concept around it and build a good theory, and like a venue will be way more interested in working with you and booking with you, and, you know, take the risk. Like, take the risk of, all right, fuck, let's try it out. And if it didn't work, if it worked for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then you got cut, you know, realize what you did wrong, and then switch it and try again. Yeah. You know, this nightlife doesn't go anywhere. This shit's not going anywhere. Like, it evolves, it changes. It's like, so.
And you can go above and beyond without feeling like you're being taken advantage of. Like, I feel like there's a thing of like, no, you shouldn't have to post flyers, or that's your job. Do a thing. Like, okay, things are evolving, like you said. Just if you had a job, not as a DJ, in another industry, would you only do the base amount of work? And then if they ask you to do anything else, you get super mad? Like, yes, of course it's reasonable. If they're asking you to do way too much shit that's not yours, then that's crazy. But, you know, just like anything else, life, you get out what you put in.
Yeah, and I think I say this in every single podcast. DJs are like the worst people ever and the best people ever. Like,
they're the laziest and hardest working at the same time. It's weird.
That's insane. You just said it. They're the laziest / hardworking. Like,
We want shit on our doorstep waiting for us.
Believe me, I'm very fucking guilty. I'll bust my ass for this and this and this and this and this, and I'll do it, and I'll be like, hey, how come this and this and this didn't happen? It's like, well, it's out of your control. It's out of your hand, and like, you know, I'll keep saying it, that just keep doing everything that you can, and then you realize everybody's trying to figure out at the same time. Like, you know, and like I said, relationships, and I always bring it up because you're like, man, like I'm doing everything, this and this and that, but do you know the manager? Like, do you know, do you have any contact with the bar? Do you have any relationships with anybody? Like, are you that cool that you just show up and DJ and you expect your bottle in there? And like, no, bro, like talk to the bartenders. Like, you know, when you talk to the bartenders and you post your party, tag them. They might not repost, but at least they know. Right. You know, like do it. Like, it's true. I think there's so many angles of DJing that people, and, you know, pre-EDM, like when becoming a DJ became that, like so many DJs still think that way, and you know the humblest DJs are the ones getting the furthest or doing the most, and it's that kind of attitude when you're like, oh, because I posted the flyer, like no, or I don't want to post it, post it, or like it, you know? I
don't want to have to go play at these places where people want to hear this song or they say this to me or whatever. So then it's like, okay, well then throw your own party. No, I don't have to throw my own party and do a thing. That's the venue's thing. Like, okay, then what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You have the ability right now to build an all reggae party, if that's what you love to play. You could do that, you know, like, and you really have even a bigger footprint now through Twitch and social media and ways to grow it. So it's going to take some work, but put some work in that. Or you have the ability to go play all these bottle service places where they tell you what to do, but you could be cool with that too. And whatever you want, you know, is attainable. You just have to figure out the angles and put in the work and be willing to fall down and get back up.
And I also think this is, you know, you said something very, very that I also think that you do have to do that. You know, you do have to go do the bottle service, at least try it, or at least attempt, or if it's not a bottle service thing, like something that is hot, like DJing is such a well-rounded career that, like, and I'm frank, I do not sugarcoat shit. I'll do gigs that don't pay as good, but if I know it's gonna get me somewhere, if I know the relationship is there, and I know that it's a vice versa. Like there's gigs that don't pay well, but it's a good look. There's gigs that pay very well that you'll never know that I did. Yeah. And there's gigs that I do that you think I'm getting a lot of money, but I'm doing this because of this favor and this and this.
100%.
Like, you know, it's not all glitz and glamour. And then like at the same time, you know, if you're doing those gigs, don't be mad that you can't do these other gigs, because that's the look and the feel that you're going for.
Right. And the whole money thing, like even, you know, I had Politic on and we posted this clip and everyone was like reposting and talking about it, like DJs need to get paid more. And I do think that, but I guess things can get taken out of context a little bit, where it gets so crazy on Twitter and on Instagram and on social media with like, yo, I got asked to do this thing for free. Yeah. There's no way I would do that. And it's like, yes, don't do things for free and don't undercut people and don't rip people off. But also there's a reasonable side to everything. And like, also everyone's time is worth a different amount of money, whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? So Tiesto's time is going to be worth a way different amount of time than someone that's DJing a restaurant gig or whatever. And like, I've done things that will have led to stuff. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, same. If I wouldn't have entered the BPM magazine contest, they didn't pay me to do that. I saw an ad in a magazine. Yes, I'd been DJing for like 10 years at that point. I got paid to DJ. I did other things, but I go, this looks like a dope opportunity and something I want to do. I'm going to spend a bunch of time on this just because I want to and send it in. I didn't like invoice them after, like, yo, this is my time, bro. Pay me for even if you didn't pick me. Like, no, I put in the work and it led to life-changing things. And yes, I don't think you should undercut people and do things for free, but you should realize that you do have to put the work in and anything you want in your life, you got to go put the work in and build the foundation.
Yeah, and it's like, I just, like, again, DJs are like such shitheads that like
right, it's such just like, it's just black and white. They want it to be black and white.
Yeah. Oh, you know? I'm gonna do this, and like, yo, like,
how much you get paid? It's like,
and the other thing, I'm very big on creating your own lane and this, and I'm like, yo, like, look, for a while, guys only want to do bottle service. And if you weren't doing the big crowd or whatever, no, bro. Like, right. I love, you know what I love? Like, I love store events. I mean, if the bag is good, I love store events or like launches, anything where I can talk to somebody. Yeah. If it's a gig that I'm DJing and this old lady comes and talks to me and I can have a conversation with her, I love that. You know why? Because I'm at a gig. If I'm taking that gig and I know that I'm in that position, everybody in there is going to be some kind of important. Like I did a Make-A-Wish Foundation and like, you know, it wasn't a crazy pay, but everybody that I talked to got my business card and some, you know, one person hit me back and that led to something else. Like these gigs where you can actually, y'all want to be spraying CO2 and all this shit, nobody can fucking talk to you. You know, you can't even pass out your fucking business card to a sticker to nobody, you know? Like these little gig intimate settings, that's where you can fucking really make your money and really make your shit, where it's like, oh, cool, I talked to the president of, you know, Sony Music and they want to book me for this, or the guy from Tidal, or the guy from Sony, or the guy from, you know, Spotify. Whatever. These gigs, that's like where I'm trying to like venture more in, you know, and that's the realm where you are communicating with somebody, where if you haven't worked on your brand, or if you don't look good, or whatever you haven't, like, that's where all that shit comes into play. Yeah. Not how good you can cut, not how good you can fucking whatever the fuck, like, nah, like, it's true. If you do those gigs, make sure you look good too, you know? I'm always like, look, when I say look good, not just in person, just on paper, you know? Yeah. It's always, to me, it's crucial. Yeah,
it's true. That's so interesting. We hit on so many points with that. But yeah, I just wanted to see kind of your perspective from someone that's a DJ, but also programming, and what's working for you, what's not working for you. You know, so that's interesting.
Yeah, and I've had DJs be like, oh, well, what about this and that? And to me, it's like everything. What are you bringing to the table? Like, what's your, like, I'm a good DJ, but you know what? I don't bring crazy shit to the table. Like I said, my relationships are kind of what I bring, because they know that I'm reliable. I know they know that they can trust me, and they know that I fucking do what I do, you know? Yeah. So.
Yeah, true. And so, you know, we, like what, I guess what's different about just Miami DJing now after the pandemic and coming back? So we touched on it somewhat, but is there any other differences?
I think that, you know what, like going back to like the locals not going out as much. Yeah. I think that Miami's become a very this is when the rest of the country was kind of shut down. Like Miami's become a very, very touristy hub city of like, people just come, and like, that's why it's kind of hard.
A lot of people have moved there too. I had Anthony, shout to Anthony, who helps us with this podcast, does many things, and from Beatsource, but he wrote me a question for you that was said, a lot of people moved to Miami in recent years. Is Miami the future? You know, well, but I noticed like the crypto stuff, the tech people, like so many things are moving to Miami that are different. And there's different areas. Like when I used to be younger, we would just go to South Beach, you know, and it's all different. So yeah,
it definitely,
just to add that in the question.
It definitely is. You know what's crazy to me? That like Miami's a very small market. People think it's huge. People think that there's like a million clubs. Like,
no, there's only a few.
There's only like a handful of clubs, and also the club.
Only a few mega clubs, and then a few other bottle services.
And this is the thing. Like, let's break it down from top to bottom. Yeah, you have your ticket selling clubs, like 11 Living Story. Right. Those are your top 3. I don't consider those clubs. They're not. Hey, let's go to the club. It's like, hey, Tiesto's here, and so has a table, or hey, you know, whatever. Yeah, that's going on for
Cascade. It's going to be somebody big.
Ticket selling, like, but a regular Miami 22, 23-year-old is not going to be like, yo, let's go to Live.
Right.
That ship has sailed a long time ago. In the Wynwood district, in the Wynwood area, you have clubs, but they're kind of outdoors, but they're not considered, I don't know, I don't consider them like an exclusive club. Like, you remember walking into a club and being like, yo, this is like nice, like leather couches, like
like I made it in.
Right. Like, but it's also because that thing has changed. So from under that, you have a few bottle service lounges that are ran by the same people, Komodo, Swan, places like that are a little bit more intimate. And after that, you have your more club is like this place like La Otra, Mad, Pilo, Centro, and those are local clubs, like local, and they're very Latin bass, you know, reggaeton, top 40, like whatever's hot, rap, just whatever's hot. But the local scene is very reggaeton, Latin bass. But then you have mad New York people, mad random out-of-towners that they want more of the open format stuff. And you have, like you said, the crypto's like a lot of crypto shit's always going down.
Right.
A lot of tech people have come out.
Have you gotten paid in crypto yet?
Yeah. But I've done parties for like the crypto nerds, and they're like,
would you accept it?
Yeah. Fuck it, why not? But I would catch out. I'm not.
No, I know, but I wonder what. Yeah.
Yeah, but
depends what kind they're paying you
exactly,
in.
Exactly. Don't pay me in fucking.
Don't pay me in Safe Moon, but pay me in like Ethereum, Bitcoin,
like the ones that are up there.
Yeah.
But that crowd is there.
Maybe the ape coin.
Yeah. some shit that I know is sustainable.
Right.
So that crowd is there, and so the locals go to those spots, but a lot of the spots that we do are like kind of new tourists. Like I see it. I see like in Blackbird and the Wharf, you see these people, like you see the random New Yorkers that look mad uncomfortable or like mad awkward. But there's a lot of things coming to Miami. Like they just opened a Bottle Blonde.
Oh, really? Yeah. They're opening those everywhere. Yeah. Wow.
And there's other kind of concepts, other restaurants. There's other New York restaurants coming in with other concepts. So like, I feel like there is, in the next 5 years, 3 to 5 years, there's going to be a whole different scene. Because Wynwood has kind of plateaued. To me, Wynwood's pretty much dead, like in the sense of something new.
Yeah.
You know, like even Wood has changed. Like, you know, we kind of updated the format a little bit. It's a little bit more pop generic, what people have, like not so old school throwback.
Yeah.
More of like, hey, play party shit. You know, you can't play the new shit. Like you never couldn't, but keep the party going for your random crowd that's there. And there's a lot of random crowd. That's how I see it.
Kind of like Vegas.
Yeah, but they're not as lit as Vegas. They don't come with that like, they're not at like a 7 out of 10.
No, Vegas is like,
that's what I'm saying.
We're coming to party.
Yeah. In Miami, it's like, yo, we're out here. Like they're on a 6 to 7. In Vegas, they're like 7 to 9. Like, yo, like we're fucking out here, you know, like.
Right. So, yeah, even like at Tao, like that club's over 15 years old, and it's still just slam, people ready to go, just party crazy, and that doesn't really exist in any other city.
Yeah, in Miami,
a club of that
or in
age.
Yeah, yeah, for something that's 15 years old, like. But in Miami, it's changed, and I'm trying to see where it's gonna go. Like there's a big boom with house music, like house music is
everywhere, right? Especially Miami, I feel like, because that has always been there.
It's always been there. And now it's more like I'm playing more house music, and then
because house music in a way is meshing with mainstream right now. It's funny. I've been noticing that a lot of the house DJs are getting booked for things that used to be open format kind of gigs, and they're playing pop type stuff, and they're putting these acapellas over their house tracks to try to be more accessible to those crowds, because they're not getting their like rave crowd, you know, and then they'll go do a festival and they can play that. Shit. But yeah, it's different.
I don't get it. I mean, and this is super left, and you know, I talk about it all the time, and it kind of goes with what we've been speaking about DJs being like. Look at somebody, and no disrespect to anybody I'm going to name,
right?
But look at guys like Afrojack and Chucky. Like, can you name a song that they've put out in the last 10 years? Like, no.
But no offense, guys.
No offense.
But yes,
but they do put out music. They're a brand. They're booked for the experience, and people know them for that. Like,
right.
Take that, DJs. Take that as an example. Like, you know, it used to be, oh, I'm gonna go hear Afrojack play "Take Over Control." Now it's like, yo, I'm gonna hear him go. Like, whoever goes see him, they go see him for him. Like,
yeah, just like a big party. Like I saw you did the opening of Tao Beach, the new Tao Beach, and it's like he hasn't had a song forever, but it's still packed and crazy, and he knows what to do.
And he's built it. So like,
yeah,
if he's still doing it as irrelevant as some people could think that EDM DJs are, like, no, he's still working. Chucky's still fucking working. You know,
yeah,
these guys are still getting work. So
true.
Find a way to kind of pivot around that. I do this all the time where I get sidetracked, but
no, it's all good.
In Miami, there's other businesses. There's a lot of tech stuff coming. So, because I feel like Miami's very behind on stuff, like when it comes to like shit like fashion or trends or like American, like U.S. stuff.
I know
so
you
Latin.
mean.
It's so Latin. Like it's so Latin that it's kind of like conflicting with like food. Like, yo, like whatever's trendy. Like when ramen became kind of trendy, or like like it took a while. Like it took a while for those kind of food trends. Like Miami's not a food city.
Yeah,
Miami's, you can have the best Latin food, but You know,
True.
I think they just opened the first Michelin, or like there's no Michelin restaurants, or like there's no caliber of that. And a lot of those, like they just opened something, and Benny's are coming down from New York that have that kind of, you know, like with Major Food Group that own Carbone and all these things.
Oh, okay.
I know they're opening stuff, and other people that have nightlife stuff. So it's definitely gonna change. It's gonna keep changing. And I just tell my homies, like, yo, like, just be ready and like, you know, ready to adapt.
I know, maybe the crypto people are gonna create some metaverse real life combo parties.
Yo, I've DJed for a few crypto like parties, and I don't know, this is different. This is different. Like,
do they party harder or no? They're more like reserved.
They have an off and on switch. I feel like,
right.
I feel like it's like, yo, like.
Well, they also want to talk to each other about it, like the coins and the NFTs and all
the
this
whales
stuff.
and
the whales.
Yeah, the whales. Like,
Need the whales in there.
So, but the ones that I've done are like super chill. You know, they're talking whatever, and then like I guess when the liquor hits, they're just like,
right,
like raging. And I'm like, all right, I didn't expect to go from 0 to 100.
Well, we know that they go crazy when they watch the chart turn green and go up. So maybe someone needs to make that graphic for the LED.
For real.
It's like, we're going up. The chart's going up. Bitcoin. Oh, we're at 40,000.
I just did. I'll show you to them later. I just did a bunch of visuals with my head. Like I'm using that as like my promo. I did one where it's like the DVD, like the old school DVD screensaver. And
yes.
It's like my head. I did a Pong one.
That's hilarious.
So I'm going to do one now, like you told me, with like the crypto chart. Where like my head is like the arrow and it's going up, you know, like
it goes with the music. You're like, oh
like,
shit.
I'll do one at 128, like slowly going up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but crypto's, who would have thought, you know, 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, that the crypto guys were gonna be.
I wish I would have known.
Right. I think everybody did.
Then I'd probably own a penthouse in Miami too. Get a Bored Ape last year. That's crazy. Well, so something else you mentioned was being in Afghanistan, being in the military, and you know, that was, I mentioned JQ earlier, and I had a long talk with him about it and heard about his time in the military, coming back out and getting into DJing, and it was so interesting. I want to have him on here to talk about that sometime. But
he's a man. And
what about your experience? You know, I can't imagine being in Afghanistan. Not a lot of DJs probably.
I joined when I was young. Like, so I grew up in Nicaragua. I'll tell the short compressed version. I was born in Miami. Grew up in Nicaragua. My parents were separating right before I was born, so I was born over there. Raised in Nicaragua. I spent all my summers in Miami. And growing up as a kid, I love music. I grew up watching MTV, and like I was obsessed with watching MTV, and like obsessed with music, period. Right. And growing up, I wanted to do two things. I don't know why I love the military. Like, it was a thing that I always just kind of liked certain things, but I'm not like a gun person. I don't own a gun but I've always liked it. And I told myself, I want to be a DJ and I want to be in the military. Like when I was a kid, like that's the only two things I've ever wanted to do in my life.
Crazy.
So I hated high school and I wanted to leave Nicaragua, so I knew I was going to join the military. Yeah, I was going to be a Marine, this and that, and like my best friend's dad was in the Air Force, and he's like, "Yo, like you're pretty smart. Like join the Air Force instead. Like the living is way better." Which, thank God I did. Really? So I joined the Air Force.
Can you fly a plane?
No, I had a desk job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was a signals intelligence analyst, and I just sat on a computer, did a bunch of stuff, and I started DJing before I joined, just as a hobby. And it was like I had everything. I had my turntables in my dorm, and then when I moved out, I had them. And when I had been in for 4 or 5 years, I was 23, 24. I was good, and boom. I was single, and I was one of those guys that joined the military to like travel. I'm like, I'm going to travel the world. Yeah. And I was stationed in Texas for 6 years, So I got hit up to deploy, and I was like, perfect. I'm like, I can do it. Like, but right before I left, I kind of started to party a little bit more and like get more into DJing and like get more into the scene. This is when Serato was kind of becoming more popular, and 2006, more people were using it. So I was like, yo, like, maybe I should get that Serato thing that everybody's using, and I can just not play my records. And when I was in Afghanistan, it kind of hit me. I was like, yo, like, I love to DJ. I love this. And like, I know I can do it better than a lot of these other guys, or I know that like I can rock. You know, I was, because I had been DJing a few years, 5-6 years as a bedroom DJ, and I knew I was the angry bedroom DJ behind, you know, like mean mugging the guy, like fuck, you know, I could have been doing this, and you know, if nothing wrong with being, I think we've all been that person,
right?
You know, as a DJ, you should be competitive. You should always put yourself in. You should always think that you are the best DJ that you are. So when I was there in Afghanistan, like I was like, yo, and I remember I got an app. It wasn't virtual DJ. It was like something else that I would kind of like fuck with,
right?
And when I came back, I was like, yo, I really gotta put my head to this, and Amazing. I knew I wanted to get out the military. And I started shifting all my focus into that. I was going to school. I was in the military. I had a girlfriend. And I was trying to, like, figure everything out. So when DJs tell me that they don't have time for shit, like, I'm like, yo, like, I literally, there was a time when I didn't have time for shit.
Right.
And it was just a different experience. And I still, you know, I'm very tapped in with the military. And I always talk about it, that I did a festival for USAA in El Paso.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, it was me and a bunch of country artists. I opened that up, and I always talk about it in every platform that I'm in. My dream gig, like the only gig that I've ever wanted to do that I've never done, is to DJ for the USO.
Oh, wow.
Like I want to travel with the USO, like go to bases, deploy with the USO, and like, you know, if it's with an artist or with a cheerleader, they send like random like people. So
yeah,
I've always wanted to do that, and you know, there was a military DJ network on Facebook and Instagram, but it's a lot of DJs that are just more hobby DJs. People that are kind of disconnected. And then I put JQ on. But being in the military was a crazy experience. And I was young. I was from when I was 18 to 24. And it's a foundation to, you know, it's the foundation to the way I am now. You know, a lot of people say I'm a dick or I'm an asshole, but I'm about my shit, you know, like I like to be on time. I like to do things right. And I've learned from my mistakes, and the military taught me a lot that, like, you know, like you need a good foundation. You need to be about your shit, you know, and a lot of DJs forget that because we party so much, or we're drinking, or there's this and that.
No, it's true. Yeah. The social.
It set me straight, and it got me really thinking. And when I got out, I was already DJing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I got a job doing what I was doing as in the military as a civilian.
Right.
But something happened with the job, and I kind of hit a wall. Like, I was like, you know, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work. Like, I'm already making the same amount of money, and I wasn't making shit back then.
Right.
So I left my job, and that's the first time I decided to, like, you know, let go.
Just go for it.
Just go for it. And it went great. It went super great. Nice. And it was different, but like being in the military, and there's things that I tell JQ and I tell like other homies that like we can kind of talk to each other about it. You know, we relate, and it's crazy because the people that are in the military are not, you know, they're not tuned in like we are, like tuned in to the music and everything. And like I did events when I was in, like commanders calls and random things, and like it's just playing, like you have to just dumb it down to for regular people, you know. And there's people that don't even go out, and I'm not saying that people in the military don't. I'm saying like it's not even like your party crowd. Yeah, because your party crowd is in tune with Drake and everything else. Like when I would do stuff for the military, I'm playing, you know, Michael Jackson and like just classic, generic, fun music. You know, like.
Yeah, I did this party every year for the Marines, like for the Marine birthday party. Right. I don't know how I got synced into it, but someone called me, and then I started doing it for a few years in a row. But very eclectic set. You know, like literally I'm playing Michael Jackson, I'm playing Drake, I'm playing Bon Jovi, I'm like playing Daft Punk.
I'm playing shit is like always a must. Like it's always like in the military, like Sweet Child of Mine.
Old school hip hop. It depends. And then some of them are like, we've never even heard of this. You know, Sweet Child of Mine. And then I'm going into Missy, and like it was all over the place. Yeah.
Like we're so complex. Our brains as DJs, and like the shit we think of is so complex that like I tell people, no, it's like people like the military. Like being in the military, it was night and day. And when I was in and I was DJing at night, you know, it was literally like Airman Arana and then DJ Kaz, you know, like literally two different people. And I wouldn't even talk about it to some people when I was in, I wouldn't even tell people like, yo, like, oh, I DJ, because I didn't want that kind of like connotation or like be thought of in this way or it come around in a negative way. But I mean, I love it. Like, I love it. I would never go back in, or I hate some things that I went through, but it's, growing pains and like everything else, everything else, nothing is perfect. But I love the foundation that it gave me. I love the people that I met. I have friends that I spent with few months in training that are my friends for life that we still talk to. And, I had one of my homies that we trained in 2003 in San Angelo, Texas, visit me in Miami. He's like, hey, I'm coming to Miami with my wife. I hadn't seen him in almost 20 years.
Wow.
But we would randomly talk, like on Veterans Day, like all my friends, we all kind of like, that's the time when I do check Facebook and I'll see like, I get tagged in this shit or these old pictures. And, it's a community and it taught me a lot, but it's definitely not like what we're in. That's why I guess I get so angry with the DJs sometimes and like, yo, you guys are so lazy or you guys don't realize like what we're doing, It's
right.
So insane.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's crazy. But it does explain a lot of the influence that it's had on your personality, your drive, and just how you approach everything.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my drive is nonstop. It never stops. I that's when you said, do you sleep? I'm like, yeah, it's something. I try to, but it comes from the military of just like pushing forward and finding out a way. And I think I've applied more of that in the later years. Like now, there's so many things that I learned that, I mean, I'll say now, like I wouldn't have worked with myself 4 years ago, 5 years ago, because I was somewhere else. My work's, like my partying was somewhere else. Yeah. My regimen was somewhere else. And like I hit a wall. That's when I started losing weight. And I had a few personal things that happened in my life. And
you've lost weight in the past couple of years.
I lost like 40 pounds.
I didn't realize how different you looked, but I guess you do.
I cut my hair too. Right now I'm like, and I didn't color. I didn't come with, when I did the road podcast, I had it green.
I know. I was expecting. I was like, oh, it's going to be.
This is neutral. This is turned off. This is turned off.
The light switch is off.
When the light switch is on. Yeah, I had a homie, one of my homies from Charlotte came to see me and he's like, dude, I get like downgrade Kaz. I want to like upgrade. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying.
And Road Podcast, I mean, not to take off of theirs, mad props to Road and,
shout out to them.
Listen to his episode, Kaz's episode on Road, and you'll get a lot out of it. But you got some really good response from that, right? What was some of the things that really stood out that people hit you up about?
Just, I tell younger DJs, like, yo, like, I answer all my DMs. Like, if you DM me about asking me about this or that, or like,
I try to too.
Yeah, some kind of guidance, when to help DJs out, and what I really pushed on there, what I mentioned earlier was just create your own lane. Like if it's like I said, building a party or building some kind of concept, some kind of mix show. There's guys that have shout out to Cases. Cases has
I've DJ'd on it. It's dope. It's the house music show, and
it's super dope. He has his show. There's a bunch of different DJs that have their show. Like, create something to make yourself stand out. In 2022, there's a million DJs, and I actually think that DJing it's not cool anymore, or it's not as popular as it once was.
Yeah, it's not as unique.
It's not as unique anymore.
Special, yeah.
And it's like, I want to be a DJ by a controller kind of crowd, like already phased out. So now, what makes you really that? Because it's not the trend. And I saw, this is like super left, but I saw a tweet that said, 10 years ago, DJs were saying that, machines were going to take over. DJing is going to go extinct because of algorithms and this and that and whatever. But now, you go to a football game and there's a DJ there. You go to you go everywhere. You go to
everywhere.
Anything, any kind of installation or any kind of launch, an art launch or product launch, car launch. There's DJs everywhere. So like, instead of thinking of how you're gonna get into the club or fight 20, 30 DJs to go play at the same taco spot that everybody wants to play at, figure out a way to get booked at that random thing you went to eat with your girl and you saw this DJ, like, like where's the competition for that?
Yeah.
It's create your own lane. Like, stop being worried about what other guys are doing, because you don't know their relationships, you don't know their connections, you don't know where they've been, you don't know anything. And now I feel like people that are working are all on the same page. You know, like yesterday when I was out with all the DJ City, the Texas guys, you know, I was talking to ETX and we were saying like, how are these DJs not doing this or they're not doing that, or like,
right,
we're all on the same page. Like, if you're working, you're moving, and you're doing your stuff, like, you want to put yourself out there and be like, cool, you know, hey manager, you know, from this club, like, let me know if you have any special, if you have your people coming, and let me know if they want me to play anything. Yo, last time I played Selena for your people, let me know if they come. I play you, I'll shout them out. You got a birthday, I'll, you know, like, let people know that you're there and communicate and like, have some presence, you know?
Yeah.
So I talked about that. I talked about, you know, a lot of the same things that we did on the road podcast and that we talked about here. And but yeah, man, you know, Crooked is the homie. He's the best. He's an interesting character. Like we're I don't know, we're Audio One is the one that said it. Shout out to Audio One. He's like, you guys are very much alike because you guys both care so much about DJing and like
and the details
of shit. Like that's why you guys would like butt heads. But I'm like, yeah, I mean, we both care about what we do, care about the community. We do shit for the community, you know?
True.
Like that's important to me. Do things for the community. Like, you know, that's what helps all of us get booked and all of us move forward. So.
Yeah. It's true. That is a good point. That like if you're doing things to add to the culture, whatever the culture is, you know, hip hop, DJing as a whole, whatever you're doing, you will get noticed by the right people because you're doing the right thing and just adding to the world through art, through passion, through all this stuff. And if you're just sort of like trying to just cookie cutter it through, or I deserve this, it's different. And people will notice when you add to the culture, and then you'll end up getting opportunities you never thought of before.
Yeah, and that's super big, you know, like the DJ culture to me is, you know, I made a living out of it. You know, we've all lived our life through it, and I always try to find stuff to do. Or, you know, I do link ups.
Yeah,
I was doing link ups. Shout out to Crespo at he has Wired Sound Academy. We were doing link ups there for younger DJs and pushing. Yeah,
I gotta get Crespo on here. He seems like the ultimate hustler. I barely know him, but
he's the man, bro. He's the man, and you know he's
just like, seems like he's doing mad shit.
He's doing a lot of stuff the right way, and you know he's had the right opportunities come his way, or the right thing, and he's handled it right, you know. And he's smart. He's about his business. He's about his business. He's about his brand, and, you know.
Yeah, I noticed he has that school, the Wired Sound.
So I was doing link ups with him, you know, meeting younger DJs, and I've connected with a few younger DJs that come out, show love, and you know I've booked some, and I've connected with them, and it's awesome, you know, because I want to get to the point where they're the ones booking me, you know, like, and that's kind of the cycle of life, you know.
It is, yeah.
And I know I keep saying like random points, but like DJs like know where you stand, know your ground, know your audience, like. Yo, like, if you're 40-something years old trying to DJ at college Thursday night, like, is that what fits your brand? Is that what you're doing? Like,
right.
Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I still
like that. I know people do that still. It's fine, but I know what you mean. Like,
like it's there's nothing.
If you are not happy with the situation, then take a step back and assess it and change it as needed. If you're cool with it, go for it. Cool. Keep it moving.
But at the same time, like, if you're doing that and you're complaining about why you can't be doing this, maybe because you're there, maybe because that venue gives you that look, or you're not even thinking, or how are you even gonna go DJ there? Like, then like have these conversations out loud. Have these conversations with yourself out loud and with other people. Like, hey, all right, well, is this really the look that I want to go for? Like, I'm trying to get booked for weddings, and you know, I'm doing this fucking, you know, college night. Like, you know, how is that correlate with what you want to do? So no, it's true. Even me, like, I've been doing this forever. A lot of people know me from different perspectives of like, oh, you're the Blink DJ, oh, you're the corporate DJ, oh, you're the bottle service DJ. And some people that are deep into those worlds don't even know. Like, when I'll go do these Amazon or Netflix or some other gigs, oh, wait, you do nightclubs too? And I'm like, yeah, or I'll go to the nightclub and they're like, wait, you do these like corporate gigs for Netflix? And I'm like, yeah, you know, and and then I notice, oh, maybe I'm posting too much about these, or, you know, but they don't even know, or they get the wrong idea. Like you're saying, or they don't even like, Dude, that's
people overthink what people think, or people overthink how much people are thinking about them. Like nobody cares about you as much as you care about yourself.
Right.
And not nobody cares about you like go, crawl in a hole and go away.
Yeah.
You're special. Anyone listening to me, I think you're special, but nobody cares about you as much as you're staring at your own phone or you're looking in the mirror or you're going, oh, what are people going to think of this picture or the thing or my scratches or the sound or the remix?
My girl put it to me like perfectly the other day. Like I put like a flyer or whatever, and she's like, that's it? She's like, that's all you're going to put on it? And I'm like, yeah, people know that I'm there. She's like, who knows? Like, do you think people, like, nobody looks at your story like you look at your story.
Right.
Because she's like.
And new people followed you and that's right now.
But she's like,
an hour ago.
Put this on there or put that or put like the, if it's a story, put like a little GIF over here, like, or put music, like.
Yeah.
Me thinking, no, I post this all the time. People should know. And then I run into somebody like, yo, where are you and so-and-so? And I'm like.
Exactly. So, they don't know it, or it could be new people. You never know. Even with this podcast, it took me so long to get people to listen to it. And then even people that tell me that they listen, then they'll be like, you should have this person on, or you should do this. And I'm like, I already did. Yeah. And it's like that. Even my loyal people you can't expect everyone. I don't expect anyone to listen to all these episodes, and not even my wife or my mom or it's like, no one's going to do that, so you just keep doing it. And with this podcast, like, it's almost like you're building a foundation using like sand, or like it can keep crumbling or going down or changing. You have to just keep laying it down, keep laying it down, keep laying it down. You don't know who's listening, who's not listening. DJ City will do a post one time of a repost of me, and I'll get 300, 500 new followers. They don't even know who I am, and you can't take it for granted. Like, I'm DJ Spider, bro. You should know what's up. Like, no, I'm going to post the same stupid hashtag, and my best friends are probably going to go, damn, fool, you keep doing the same thing over and over.
It's not for you.
But, yeah, exactly. Like, give me a break.
You're not my target audience.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm literally, like, posting, and she's like, no, but put tonight. That's what it was. That was the first thing. She's like, put tonight. And I'm like, yo, but people know that I'm here on. No, she's like, well, put tonight. And I found like a little gift that said tonight. And then somebody replied like, oh, shit.
Right.
You're there tonight. And I'm like,
yeah.
Like, yo. I literally like threw my phone. I was like, you win. Like, fuck.
Yep.
But.
It's true. Yeah. You can't overdo it, and that's when people are like, man, this person's annoying. They're doing it so much. It worked. You know who they are. It worked. And you know it. Right. And if you're annoyed, then fine. Someone else is going to the party or signing up for the service or whatever it is,
Yeah, dude. That happens a lot. And like,
why do you think Coca-Cola, has a ad everywhere you look? You swivel your head, you're gonna see it somewhere, a sticker. They're not like, listen, bro, we're Coke, we've been around, don't worry about it now, people know to drink us.
Yeah. And like the whole and that's another thing with like the DJ thing, like there's ways to do it. Like, I post certain things a certain way because I want them to be taken a certain way.
Yeah.
But then you can't complain about this,
right?
Not like,
yeah, it's true.
Seriously, DJs, nobody cares.
And nobody cares about you. Yeah. It's a good way to think about it, though. You know what I mean? Less nerves that, like, my thing is, even with, like, the events, like, someone called me and they're freaking out about DJing this, like, it was in England, but it was the version of the Oscars where they're about like, well, what do I play? What do I do? What do I look like? And yes, you should think about all that. You should look good. You should play the right thing. You should pay attention to all the details. But at the same time, it's not all about you. They're promoting the Netflix Oscar party. They're not promoting DJ Spider will be performing. Everyone stare at him. You're there to help them have a good night. You're there to add your part in the moving engine of the night, and that almost can help your nerves go away a little bit. Like, put your best foot forward, do the best job ever, but also don't overthink that everyone cares about you so much. Your whole life's going to change. The head of Netflix is going to give you the show that night, and then that's it. Like,
that's
be realistic.
That's very good, because I had that same situation happen to me, and little humble brag, obviously, opening for Pitbull, like on the Pitbull tour. Like, dude, I was so nervous at first, and I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck? I'm playing for like 20,000 people.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm prepping. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play this and this and this and that.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
as you should. Yeah.
And then everybody that I talked to that had done it was like, yo, like, bro, like, you know, the audience is like your shit, like play all the pop shit. And I was like, what? And then when I got on, what I'm getting at is that I started DJing, whatever. And then when I was done,
yeah,
it was 2 sets. When I was done with the first set, I was like, yo, like, why was I so nervous? Because these people aren't here for me.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking cares about DJ Kaz. They're here to see Mr. fucking Worldwide.
Exactly.
So, like, why am I so in my head about this? Like, let me just have fun. Let me just relax. Let me just, like, do my shit, entertain people here, do the job to, like, warm it up. And then they're here for the show. You know, they're here for that. So,
exactly.
like, remember that, you know, you're there to do a job and you have to position yourself in the right way. And till you become the Calvin Harris where you sing, produce, fucking do everything, then they're there to see you.
Yeah.
You know, then they're really there to see everything you do.
Right.
Until then, you're hamster on the wheel, you know?
Yeah.
Part of the moving process of the show.
It's so true. Yeah. And what's the worst that could happen? Let's say you do horrible and it doesn't go like you want. You're just kind of going to be in your own head thinking about it, but no one else. They're going to be watching Mr. You know, Worldwide 305. Let's go.
Let's go.
Dale.
Dale.
Yeah. Oh man, we've touched on so much stuff. I mean, we got to get out of here soon,
right.
but I, you know, you've got an amazing Twitter. I've always been a fan.
Thank you.
You're one of my favorite Twitter accounts. So
I've slowed it down though. I've like
you have slowed it down.
Yeah, I've toned it
which
down.
I'm sad about. No, it's
no. I still come out
you do,
swinging
you do.
every once in a while.
But you always have some good opinions and takes on there, you know, and it gets people talking. And I think,
I like engaging stuff, you know.
But I know that, you know, you have a pinned tweet right now on the top, and it's a more serious one than your other. Not the other ones aren't serious, but you know, I could read the whole thing, but it's you wrote like a whole thing like on Facebook and then and screenshotted it, right? And it was just talking about DJs disconnecting. And I think this whole podcast has been about connecting and what to do and all that. And that is one thing, is that our lives are 24 hours a day and it's all connected, and the DJing is our hobby. Our hobby is our passion, and our passion is our job. And it's this full circle thing that can get you to the place of euphoria and the place of depression all within 24 hours and not even understand your own self in a way. Like, you get so lost in it. And I think that when you write, DJs, don't forget to disconnect, and then you really wrote a good explanation of it. Yeah. I think DJs should read that and really take it to heart, because that's something during the pandemic that we really had to face with ourselves. And I think why people maybe just started drinking like crazy or started hating themselves or not knowing what to do, because who am I? If I'm not a DJ, who am I? What even am I? What's my worth to the world? You know, and do I have a hobby? What am I even into? You know, you forget it. So I think that's that's kind of what you wrote here, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll break it down. So, I mean, I had like a mental breakdown. Like, I had like the worst. Just crashed. I crashed. I was like, yo, like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with DJing? What am I doing, like, with everything? And I realized that I was so selfish with my career and the way that, like, I moved and everything I did. And I was just like, yo, like who am I? Like, where's Rodrigo in all this?
Right.
Like where's Rodrigo in all this? And I realized that, yo, like, so I've been DJing for 20 years. In the last, I say 15, since 2007, I've focused solely on my career, and everything that I've done in my life, even my personal life, even like the girls that I dated were because they dated Kaz or dating Casper or like whatever, like my DJ Killer Kaz, like they were in tune to that. My friends, I would be like, yo, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, yo, I'm playing here on Friday. You guys come over. Yeah. I would make my friends come to my gigs. Right. My time off was spent sleeping or working on music or resting, and like I never took care of myself. I never until recently. And even when I was working out and losing weight, and like that was kind of what triggered it, because I started just running with like no music, listening to different podcasts, non-DJ stuff. Yeah. And just analyzing myself and like, yo, like, what do I like? Like, it got to the point, pre-pandemic, people would ask me all the time, yo, what do you do for fun? I'm like, DJ. Like, what exactly. Do you mean? Like, no, DJ. Like, well, what do you do when you're not DJing? And I'm like, probably listen to music or like sorting music and this and that. when I hit that like bottom, I was just like, yo, like I have to disconnect. I have to like, and it's whatever drug, you know, it's like the drug of like you said, the euphoria of like either feeling the crowd or physically DJing. I love to physically DJ. Like, I can DJ. People complain about long shifts, and I'm like, yo, I love, like, obviously, whatever, but
yeah, I get it.
I love to physically DJ. And remember to take care of yourself. Put yourself out of your DJ position. You know, take care of your personal self and disconnect. Like, put your phone down. Like go running or do this or find a hobby, whatever you kind of liked. You know, and I've been catering more to myself and catering more to the things I enjoy. Yeah. And I think a lot of us, you know, like my boy, one of my friends put it into perspective. He's like, dude, your friend's a banker. Like, you think he gets home and like opens up like his, you know, fucking Excel files or whatever, like when he's like in bed. So why are you looking at
He's like, let's check these interest rates, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but you're at the crib, like, you know, I'm at the crib and I'm like going through music casually.
Yeah, well, me too. I mean, still, I relate to it.
It's our lifestyle. I'm not saying like, no, you know, it's like.
Yeah. And it's even hard with, like, I'm a dad, you know, and sometimes you put it into that. Like, well, look, I'm a dad, so my extra time goes into my kid. And it does. But then, like, my kid slept out, you know, the other night. And I was alone, and I'm, like, with my wife. And it even that. You're like, wait, what do we like to do? We've just been parents for 9 years. Like, he's never slept out anywhere. Like, or like, what do I like to do? Or what do I, you know, it's crazy because you almost mask it with other things that you do love, but that maybe aren't a hobby or don't let you disconnect and really tap in with those parts of yourself.
Exactly. And that to me, and then when I say disconnect, it's not like go outside. It's like I disconnected mentally. Like, I literally had to go through like a mental breakdown and be like, all right, everything in my life revolves around DJing. Like, from the way that I dress to the people that I'm around to everything revolves around that. So like, let me be more myself, you know? And then like, it's funny because Jamie the Great said it. He was like, bro, like from 2 years ago to now, you're like a completely different person. And like, and I'm like, dude, it's just because I'm way more open. You know, I've admitted my faults. I've owned up to a lot of shit. I made up for shit. There's things that I'm still making up for. Relationships with people that I destroyed because of my DJing, in the sense of, you know, my career came first. Like, or this, that, or you don't want to do this. Like, I would take things personal because of that. And just kind of remember to be a person and like be a good person, because it matters a lot. And this like this world that we live in, there's so many vices. If it's not, like I said, the DJing, if it's not women, if it's not, you know, your significant other, man, whatever, drinking, drugs, the nightlife, the social engagement is a drug too. Like, like there's so many things that
it's true.
Stand away, like know when to cut it off, know when to step away.
Right.
So that's, if you take anything from that, take that from this podcast.
It's huge. That's huge. I think there's a lot of gems in here. I'm so glad we did this, man. And I'm glad we got to do it in person. And, you know, you were one of my first virtual interviews, so we were just figuring all that out. So, like, to be able to hang in person after a couple years, so great. Hearing your growth and everything you're saying is honestly inspirational and makes me happy. And yeah, man, I'm so glad we got to do this, and then we get to hang tonight with a bunch of DJs.
DJ City Latino,
Latino link up. You know, I get to come, be part of the
Shazam everything.
Yeah, I get to learn a lot about all that. I go to all of them. I'm like, I went to the ladies link up. I was like, sorry, I'm not here to creep on you. I'm just being supportive.
That's funny.
I know. Always. Edwin's like, come to the ladies one. I'm like, am I allowed to? And then I come like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm not a perv. I'm just being nice. I support.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of, we got to do a ladies one in Miami now. I mean, we had one. I had one kind of scheduled pre-pandemic. So
yeah, I wonder how many women are coming to the Beyond the Music. No,
Beyond the Music.
Yeah, seems like it. Hopefully they have a good. Yeah, I know it tends to be a lot of guys.
You know Ilset, DJ Ilset. She's
I don't think so.
She's Houston, Miami.
I've definitely heard her name, but I don't know her.
She has a good circle. She plays that Wednesday party at Wood, and then she also Tuesdays at Blackbird, she'll do like a ladies takeover inside, and so she's good at getting like the female DJs, kind of around it. So
dope.
So yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I know. I got to get more women on here, and been telling Yo-Yoli to come on. And
she's killing it. Yo-Yoli, homie right there.
She's the best. She came to we had dinner in Vegas like a month ago, and I was just like talking to her. I mean, I met her. She was like a little kid, and I was DJing in the famous Stars and Straps store before. I was about to go to Vegas to DJ like a big club, and that day Travis Barker had me DJing in the famous Stars and Straps store. And I remember she came, she's like a young, probably teenager, and she's like, hey, I'm a fan, and da-da-da. Like just a little kid. I don't even know if she was DJing. We talked, but I still remember her from that day. We talked about it that night, and then I've just seen her grow through all this time, and to see what she's doing in Vegas now, at Omnia, and then all that stuff that just happened with the BTS thing like a week or two ago.
Crazy.
I'm so happy for her, but she's about her business too. She has a good mindset, and
she's an AM fan.
She's an AM fan. I mean, that's how it came. I mean, she was like, I'm an AM fan, Travis, all that, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do some scratches.
See the picture of her at is it Coachella, right?
I don't know.
There's a picture of her
with AM at Coachella.
No, she has a sign.
Oh,
she's like in the crowd.
Oh, crazy.
I think it was at Coachella or somewhere.
Probably.
But she's holding a sign like AM, I love you, or like AM something.
Amazing.
Yeah, so good. I love to see that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, she's great. Amazing. Well, yo, any other words you got for the DJs or anything you want to leave people with?
Just pitch my socials, I guess. Yeah, right?
Yeah. How can people find you?
So I'm the most active on Instagram. That's probably like my top.
Right.
And it's at DJ KA5, DJ Kaz with a 5, DJ K5 or whatever the fuck.
It's like Dead Mouth 5.
Yo, I was telling the guys yesterday, I saw a dude yesterday that looked like Dead Mouth on my plane, and I was like, if it was him, I would have gone up to him and would have been like, yo, man, like I'm a DJ, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to drop. I don't want anything. Can you just do a video for me? And I would have been like, I would have asked him to say like, yo, it's pronounced Kaz. That's it. That would have been my I'm at Deadmau5's post. It's pronounced Kaz.
That would have been legendary.
Legendary. So yeah, at DJ Kaz, DJ K5.
Okay.
My Twitter is DJ _K5. And my site, my landing site is pretty much OG kind of link tree.
Right.
So DJKaz.com, DJK5.com takes you to everything.
And are you streaming at all?
No, I don't do any streams. Oh, and my Patreon, patreon.com/DJK5.
Yeah.
No, we did
crazy edits on there. Obviously, you heard before, like 4,000 of them.
And DJs, I did this for the Road Podcast. If you're still listening to this at this time right now, send me a DM and I'll send you a free pack. So if you're listening to this, be like, hey, I heard you on the Beatsource podcast with Spider, and I'll send you some
Let's go. Blat out.
You have to get it. You have to be listening to this point.
Yeah. You got to have receipts. Got to have made it this far.
Yeah.
Hour and 30 minutes.
Appreciate it, man.
Yo, appreciate it too. Thank you. And I'll see you tonight. We'll have a good time. All right. DJ Kaz.
Peace.
All right, having Killer Kaz on the show was a pleasure. It was an honor. DJ Kaz, thank you again for coming in. I'm so glad we got to do this in person. It was a meaningful episode. I loved it. So I hope you guys did too. Please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. Help us grow. Let your friends know. Let your mom know. Let your grandma know. Let anyone DJ that's interested in DJing know that we are here, okay? The 20 podcast is produced by Beatsource. Join us next week for more interviews as we discuss music that matters to DJs. I'm DJ Spider signing off. Peace.